Episode 13 shatters everything. Witch Hat Atelier Episode 13 just dropped, and the season finale completely shattered the fundamental rules of magic that this show spent the last 12 weeks building. If you thought this was just a cozy, whimsical Ghibli-style show about cute girls drawing magic circles, Bug Films just handed you the ultimate reality check. The grand illusion of Season 1. Looking back at the overall architecture of Season 1, the pacing was a calculated masterpiece of deception. Kaomi Shirahama's original work is published in a seinen magazine for a reason, but the anime deliberately lulled us into a false sense of security. We started with the tragedy of Coco accidentally petrifying her mother, but the story quickly wrapped us in the warm, golden aesthetics of Qifrey's atelier. We watched Coco conquer the data range test with improvised glider shoes. We survived the terrifying glimpse of forbidden space in the Calm Dragon Labyrinth. But every single one of those mini-arcs was just a stepping stone designed to teach us the absolute, unbreakable laws of the pentagram so that Episode 13 could violently break them right in front of our faces. The ambush begins. Picking up right where Alera was dragged into the Shadow Realm inside the Serpentback Cave, her tossed hat serves as a desperate, chilling warning signal to Qifrey and Coco. In Witch Society, the pointed hat is not just a uniform. It is a witch's literal identity, the symbol of their vow to uphold the pact and keep magic hidden from the uninitiated. For a seasoned test proctor like Alera to deliberately abandon her hat means total catastrophic loss of control. It is the ultimate magical distress beacon.
Forbidden magic unleashed. But the warning comes seconds too late. A colossal golden golem summoned by forbidden, body-altering magic erupts from the subterranean depths of the Romanon ruins. The sheer kinetic force of the blast sends Qifrey, Coco, and Tedia tumbling over the precipice into the pitch-black abyss below. Down in the dark, the lore hits us like a freight train. These aren't just mindless rock monsters. These golden golems are the tragic, immortalized citizens of the ancient city of Romanon, people who tried to use forbidden magic to conquer death and wound up turning themselves into living, gilded statues. And standing between these immortal nightmares and the apprentices is a heavily injured Qifrey, bleeding from his hidden eye, striking a defensive spell stance that is pure, unadulterated directorial flex by Bug Films. Art versus darkness. Meanwhile, a completely different breed of psychological horror is taking place at the top of the cave. Agate, Riche, and Uini are trapped on the upper road, desperately trying to protect the helpless merfins from an amorphous Brimmed Cap who literally steps out of a puddle of liquid shadow. This scene is an absolute triumph of character writing. We get to see Riche's stubborn refusal to cast standard spells turn into a massive liability, forcing Agate to step up with ice-cold, analytical decision-making. Agate tries to use her raw artistic ingenuity to cast a visual lie, faking Coco's presence to throw the Brimmed Cap off their scent. But the Brimmed Cap counters with devastating psychological warfare, exposing the girl's deepest insecurities on the spot. The sacrifice of Uini. And then happens the single most horrifying moment of the modern anime season. The Brimmed Cap turns their attention to Uini, a boy whose entire arc has been defined by his crushing lack of self-worth and his desperation to just be a normal, helpful student. The Brimmed Cap forcefully applies a forbidden magical seal directly onto Uini's skin. Under the laws of the magical pact, casting a spell on a living biological body is the ultimate, unforgivable sin, because the human body cannot regulate the infinite loop of the runic lines. In a visceral, heartbreaking sequence, Uini's humanity is forcefully stripped away, twisting his physical form into a grotesque, black-scaled beast. Watching Agate and Riche stand there in paralyzed, wide-eyed horror while their classmate is turned into a monster is the exact moment Witch Hat Atelier permanently lost its innocence.
A finale unlike any other. This brings us to a massive analytical question. What makes this finale stand out from almost every other major anime season ender in recent memory? When you look at modern juggernauts, a season finale almost always falls into one of two categories. Either you get a massive, budget-breaking, triumphant battle that resolves the immediate conflict, or you get a peaceful, low-stakes denouement chapter that neatly wraps up the character arcs and sets sail for the next destination. Bug Films and series composer Hiroshi Seiko looked at both of those industry standards and threw them out the window. They delivered a true, uncompromising mid-arc suspension. They walked us right into the darkest room of the haunted house, turned off the lights, locked the door from the outside, and rolled the credits. The cinematography of dread. Visually, the standout element of this finale is the genius utilization of ink shift monochrome. Throughout the season, the anime reinforced the philosophy that magic is the miracle that colors the world. Regular spells are rendered in super saturated, gorgeous, glowing golden and turquoise hues. But the moment the Brimmed Caps summon forbidden magic, the anime literally drains the color from the screen. The background art turns into raw, scratchy, high-contrast black and white G-pen strokes. It is a masterclass in visual storytelling. The lack of color isn't just an artistic filter, it is a profound thematic statement that forbidden magic fundamentally corrupts and hollows out the natural beauty of the world. The mathematics of the manga. So let us get into the hard calculations and map out the exact road ahead for Season 2. Looking at the chapter distribution, Episode 13 adapted chapters 22 and 23 of the manga. This brings Season 1 to a mathematically perfect landing right at the final page of Manga Volume 4. When you divide 23 chapters across 13 episodes, Bug Films operated at an exceptionally healthy, breathing adaptation rate of 1.76 chapters per episode. They did not rush the quiet moments, which means the emotional weight of this finale actually earned its payoff.
What to expect in Season 2? When Season 2 gets greenlit, it will not start with a recap or a peaceful morning in the kitchen. It is going to drop us instantly back into the subterranean bloodbath of Chapter 24 to conclude the Serpentback Cave arc. We have to see how Qifrey survives the Golden Romanon Horde, whether Alara can be pulled back from the Shadow Dimension, and the tragic, immediate fallout of Yuini's permanent transfiguration. The Great Hall Arc. Once they escape the cave, Season 2 will officially transition into one of the most beloved top-tier storylines in the entire franchise, the Great Hall Arc, spanning chapters 30 through 39. Without spoiling the massive plot twists for purely anime-only viewers, Qifrey's severe injuries will force the entire Atelier to pack their bags and travel to the very heart of the magical world, the underwater citadel known as the Great Hall. Enter Lord Beldorit. This is where the scale of the world multiplies by 10. At the Great Hall, we are going to be introduced to the upper echelon of magical authority, specifically Lord Beldorit, the eccentric wise in teachings. Because the apprentice's second test was disastrously interrupted by the Brimmed Caps, Beldorit is going to issue them an official high-stakes makeup exam with the most terrifyingly ambiguous prompt imaginable: surprise me. This upcoming arc is pure, unadulterated creative fuel. We will see Coco, Agate, Techia, and Riche push their runic combinations to heights we haven't even conceived yet. Furthermore, the Great Hall arc is going to pull back the curtain on Qifrey's dark, heavily guarded backstory with Orugio and reveal the unsettling dystopian reality of how the Knights Morales maintain the magical law.
Subscribe for Season 2. Bug Films delivered absolute cinematic perfection, honoring Kamome Shirahama's artwork with a profound level of respect. Did Coco just take her first subconscious step toward forbidden magic down in the dark? How do you think the Knights Morales will react to Yuini's curse? Drop your most detailed calculations and theories in the comments below, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you do not miss our upcoming full manga breakdown of the Great Hall arc.